Come take a look through the orange lens, my friends. How you doing, folks? You right? Use the force, positive mental attitude, but it's about balance in my world, right? It's not fake it till we make it. It is grow until we flow. And flow state comes from being in that state of growth internally. You've questioned yourself, you've broken yourself down. You know whether you've thought something original, whether you're just regurgitating something someone else has said. You know, have you created what you feel to be an original thought to yourself? It might not be an original thought, but did you come to it to your own means? Or are you just regurgitating, like the education system teaches us today? You know? Do you know what? Good evening to you all. Hope you're well. I came across I was casually minding my own business, watching Bitcoin TV on Swan Signal, I think it might be, on YouTube. And Bitcoin TV, it's a 24-hour live streaming Bitcoin TV, which is freaking awesome. I'm minding my own business in there. A little bit of a chat with a couple of people that were in there. And then someone says to me, it says something about something or other Citadel. I'm like, what's that? He said, oh, you should go and check out this podcast, Citadelium. Citadelium, I said, what's that? He says, well, opposed to revolution that's fixing or rejigging what we have, it's creating something totally different. I was like, right, now I'm interested, because really that's what I want to do, right? It's just, I'm permanently trying to find ways in which we can actually do this, right? And so, you know, I'm reaching around for them. Anyhow, so I thought, well, that's piqued my interest. He said, yeah, Citadelium is the podcast. Go check it out. All right, I will. So I've just back to back watched 7 or 8 of them. It was very interesting. And I mean, you should definitely watch it. I'm going to watch a few more before I put the link into my descriptions. So I'm not going to tell you it's in there yet. But while we're mentioning links and descriptions all down there and like buttons and share buttons and shit like that, help me get the conversation out there, because why wouldn't you, right? All I want is for a better future for us all, you know? So let's make that happen, right? And Bitcoin is one of them ways we're going to do it, isn't it? Right? Because once we take control of our finances, we force governments and big corporations to deal with us in a totally different fashion, don't we? So, you know, that's what we're going to do. So, what is a citadel, I was thinking, right? What is a citadel? So, basically, the way they've described it is it's an area, it's where a group come together with the, you know, united agreement of a certain way of living and being and creating community, right? So from that starting, like, say now, like online and, you know, the joining of communities in the sense of business, in the sense of belief, in the sense of, you know, morality. You know, this is some, you know, deep ideas, which is brilliant. And I'm, you know, I had to watch a few episodes before I said anything, because I didn't want to, you know, man, it's so like I you know, wrote out them 13 points that I put in the Facebook group chat, which is down in the links, in the description. Just tap that little drop down menu button and there's a whole ton of links there for you. But with the 13 points I made when I started that group, that was a declaration of humanity, right? And I changed the name quite happily, because I realised how many people were like onto that way. And And I was like, oh, this is brilliant. You know, these ideas are permeating throughout people's brains, and you know, filtering out through our lives, right? So, but basically, like in that group, and one of the things I said was this system of pods, where basically, in my eyes, I have this vision of the future where you choose to live like your vibe is but you choose to live where you resonate with the people there, right? You know, your vibe attracts your tribe. That's the one I was looking for. But it's that sort of a gig whereby, you know, you've got pods of communities, you know, maybe small ones that are like 150, 200 number down. You know, maybe you've got some, you know, village, town, maybe, you know, cities. Sure, you know, the cities are going to be hectic, and who knows what that could be, right? Because if you've got 5 citadels that come together, 5 pods of communities that come together and decide that they're so similar in ways that they'd have more buying power and stuff like that if they came together. Because at the heart of what this guy's talking about with citadels is capitalism, which is free market. And as he was talking about capitalism and like the healthy competition you can create, that's coming from a healthy manner, right? Like, I've just watched hours of this guy breaking it down, so I'm possibly like leapfrogging things. But I'm gonna put the link in the description. I just want to watch a few more videos just to see what it, you know, what it is. But honestly, like, so the idea of these citadels is groups of people come together. You've got invested values, interests, and you pull your resources together and you create areas that represent what you want out of life. You know, and so let's check my notes. Yeah. So what is a citadel? Pods, groups of people that have come together, as I was just saying. Now, one of the things he was highly promoting throughout all the first, you know, 7 videos, and I would guess as, you know, that will continue, was family values, which I really do get. And you know, I've sort of I mean, part of me had chosen that I'm just not gonna have children now. Like, I always wanted kids. I've always wanted to be a dad. I think I'd be an epic dad. But like I made a choice a few years back that I was more interested in utilising my time to make sure that the future's better for all children, right? And because I'd gotten to an age already where I was feeling like, you know, I'm getting a bit like longer in the tooth to want to be having kids. Like, it's not written off. It's just, I'm not sending children to some fucking mainstream academic fucking institute, right? There's no way I would do that. So, you know, that causes me, you know, many reasons to sort of, but if the situation was allowing, you know, if I felt responsible enough and finances weren't the issue and time I had plenty of, because I'd need to have children. You know, it takes 2 parents to raise a child in my eyes. You know, it's one of the things I agreed with this guy and what he was saying. He was saying, you know, it does take, you know, it takes 2 parents to raise a child, but he was very staunchly on male and female, and he had a really separatist definition on what masculine and feminine were. He did see this, you know, he, like, one of the things he was saying when he was talking about you know, raising children and academics, and he's saying, you know, obviously you raise the boys to be the leaders, and you know, the girls to you know, do the feminine stuff like make home and whatnot, and I was just a bit like, mate, that, like, everything I've learnt from internal balance, from internal work, says that masculine and feminine are internal qualities that men and women have. And like, this guy was even referencing some like ancient teachings, but one of the affirmations I got about what I just said about the internal balance of the masculine and feminine qualities was from a couple of different ancient civilizations, albeit one in fact I think they were both kind of breakaway and small. One of them was it was sort of it was a breakaway from early Egypt. It might have been from late Kemet, from early Egypt, mid Egypt. I'm not quite sure, because you know, Egypt has a hench timeline, and you know, my memory's not that great anyway. But nonetheless, I truly believe in the internal balance of what we see in any way, shape or form as masculine and feminine. Now, this is not to lead more confusion into the teachings of what a male and a female is, right? A boy is very different from a girl, right? A boy has a willy, a girl doesn't. She's got an inner, right? I'm like, I don't want to say the girls' bits. Right? But like, on the outside, we are very different. And by nature, yes, sure, women do have this more of a caring nature, right? And men do have more of a sort of a physical, almost warlike nature to a degree. But we have a choice, and we also have development, and we have the access and ability to all of these internal states, you know. Are we focusing more on our compassion, our caring, our nurturing side? Or are we focusing more on being a staunch, strong man? You know? Like, one or the other ain't going to cut it, in my view, right? If you do not take into account the internal balance of both masculine and feminine, what happens when your boy, the leader, grows up not to be a leader, but his sister showed all the leadership qualities, but she was being encouraged to make house? I mean, that sounds like shit that's been going on for years and we're only just getting out of it, right? So one of the beautiful things I liked about what this man was talking about, and about citadels, and about this whole thing, is it's not like every citadel would be the same. It's the point of having these, and that's why I always call them pods, right? Because you have a group of people that are living over there that have pulled their resources because they've all got the same morals, values and beliefs, but the next pod over there could have completely different values, morals and beliefs, right? And there they are. And, you know, one of the things he did say that was, you know, prime and priority was security and defence. It's not offence, it's defence, right? And you know, so it was like, you know, you'd have like a security system built into your own citadel, right? And maybe you'd have like a guard, right? But what I thought was that maybe actually there would be a company, or many companies, that worked throughout certain areas, and they provided guards for the citadels. And most of these guards, male or female, would probably be like, you know, I like the idea of being a bit of a roamer, you know, going from one citadel to another. You know, I might stay at one for 6 months or a year because it's got a particular vibe, but like then I'd move on, doing music, talking, you know, working, helping people on some buildings. You know, maybe someone new's come to the citadel and they need to build something. I'd go and help them, you know, perform some music in the evening, maybe do a bit of a talk, you know, and things like this. I think it's beautiful to. So I'm obviously coming out of just watching 7 episodes, so, but I'm going to roll over to 15 minutes because I haven't wrapped this up properly. But what I was saying about the masculine and the feminine before I started sidetracking there was, if your boy grows up not to be the leader, your daughter does grow up with the leadership qualities. In fact, she's shown them from an early age, but there she is being pushed over there to keep house. Now what happens to the psychology of them children as they grow? One's feeling like inferior to what they should be, trying to be something they're not. The other one's pissed off because they're being held back because they're something more than what they're being told they are. Like, it doesn't work. You have emotional turmoil. You have mental turmoil. So we have to take the time to actually address ourselves internally and say, okay, where can I be more compassionate? Right? If you are a man who's been raised in a society where men are strong and dominant, right? The leader of the house, like my nan and my mum used to say, it takes more than just a man to run a house. It takes both. Right? Balance doesn't stop at a point that is convenient. I don't believe. I believe if we truly want to get to some real good, deep change, we've got to challenge ourselves inside and say, actually, let me stop commenting here. Let me bite my tongue. Let me hold back. Let me really absorb some of this, you know, person's opinions, this person's views. Let me not just jump in with something I've got to say because I've just read 5 things, right? You know, and sometimes, you know, I'm going to go right ahead and say something anyway because I feel like I want to say it anyway, even though I'm aware that, you know, I could maybe wait a bit longer. But, I don't know, we've got a snoring pup down here. But I was really, really interested, right? Citadelium podcast. It is thought-provoking. I mean, I think I'd love to have a chat with the guy because, to be honest with you, I think I'm on a similar vibe. Totally different delivery, you know, but I think the vibe's very similar. I'd be well interested in talking more and just bouncing off any ideas with anyone who's watching this, right? Like at the moment, I'm getting about 4 views because I think I pissed off a few people because they might have been, my views suddenly dropped down, and I got a feeling it was the people that I feel were being dishonest around me, and so I cut them out, and all of a sudden my views dropped a little bit. Could be a coincidence, but that is what it is. I don't give a shit if 2 people not ever, that's bullshit, or millions of people. I don't want to change the world. I don't have Jesus God complex, don't want to lead you, don't want to rule you, but I want real change. Like, I've been working on myself on and off. I'm not perfect, but I've been working on myself. I'm well long gone ready for change. Like, I'm here ready for it, still ready to learn more, still ready to work on myself more. But people, we have to get it. We have to look at things and go, what can we do? Because do you know what? We've got a future we could build that would be epic if we choose to do it. Because we are the power. People's choice, conscious people's choice, is got to be the most feared thing by any ruling classes, right? Conscious, free choice, right? Once I continue to work on myself, right? And I like to reiterate that because there is no masters. Yes, you can study something and be very good at it, but I think even engaging in the terminology of a master is just too egoic. We don't have to diminish education and teaching and growth, but let's just be mindful about what labels we're putting on what and what it can trigger, right? You know, let's be mindful about what we're teaching our children, because what are they going to end up reacting to? Right? If you teach boys they've got to be the leaders, not all boys have leadership qualities. Not all boys grow to be strong men that want to stand and lead, because actually they're much happier in a different position doing another thing, and they don't have the qualities for it. You know, I don't care. quite frankly, right, I've led and I've followed. I like walking side by side. That's my favourite state, right? It's not me leading you. It's not me following you. It's not you following me. We stand side by side. We work hard together and we create each step as we go, right? Bitcoin is an option. Get some. Get a wallet. Get a node. Get some Bitcoin and stack it. Because the economy's collapsing and we might as well choose the new way and get in on it before the institutions do. Like, lots of money's flying into it. It's never too late. When you look at what it is, if it becomes the world's reserve currency, which it looks it's heading that way, it should demolish gold, because actually, if you're talking about a currency and something of backing, I'd say Bitcoin's better than gold anyway. I wouldn't even say it's gold 2.0. I'd say it's something completely different. It is new currency. I'm bullish. Bitcoin. Oh, voice fell apart there, didn't it? Anyway, let's bit it off. Let's assess ourselves. Can we grow what we see to be, masculine or feminine, male or female? Because male is not masculine, female is not feminine. The internal feminine and masculine, as it was talked about of older days, and even I believe within current psychology. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but it's not specific to. It's like it's a definition of a quality of a trait. So an internal trait could have the quality of like what we relate to feminine, which is the more compassionate, the softer, but then with that, it's not like that's just like this good and then man's like this strong bolshy bashy thing. It's balance. So let's freaking get some. Anyway, my friends, use your force, positive mental attitude, be kind with your thoughts to yourselves like you would for others. Keep loving your hearts for yourselves like you would for others. And let's get it. Get what, John? Awareness, of course. Peace in.